It's always the record.
In between. Yeah. So first of all, a very warm welcome to all of you, all friends, guests, and people, lovely people here. And it's really exciting to like come together on this occasion today and meeting all of you and sharing the work that has been happening and something that will be exploring more in the presentation with Kripa and with the Harmandir teachers today. But it's really exciting to see all of you today, and we really want to thank you for joining us today. Uh, I'll just give some basic kind of. I'll just set some kind of base for the today's uh, meeting and this presentation. So basically, this is the occasion when we are meeting where this is the completion of our Art First Foundation's first artist educator grant 23-24 that we had awarded to our Kripa last year. And as part of this grant, Kripa engaged very closely with this amazing, very kind of interesting school called Har Mandir, which is situated in the Coorg in Karnataka on the hills, and where Kripa very closely engaged with the teachers of her mandir. And she will be like, I'll not go more deeper into it because we'll know more about it from Kripa herself about how her engagement was. So that is about this occasion, the grant and completion of that grant where Kripa is, and the teachers are going to do a small presentation for all of us. But to begin with, actually, I also wanted to think aloud with all of you about. There's a very interesting, actually, thing is happening around us, especially in the last 10 years, if or so, where the landscape of art-based education is really flourishing, especially on the school level. Sometime it is taking various different form. It is taking sometime as a educationist or educators or artist educators going to schools or conducting workshops, working with closely with teachers, as well as on the policy levels also. On the other hand, there are so many interesting community libraries who are engaging so closely with the various schools, whether government or public school or the private school. But what is interesting is there is some kind of charge that I think all of us can feel in the air. Past many years it has developed, and now it has become a practice. It's very interesting that it is taking a form of a practice itself, where it is like, for me, that is a very interesting moment that we all are in, and we are somewhere or other, we all are taking different ways part in it. So on one hand, actually, therefore, what I also see is there are so many organizations, individuals, collectives who are engaging with school children, teachers, or on many different making curriculums and beyond that also. And at Art First, where from where we belong, the organization from where we belong, we are also trying to, in our own ways, we are trying to deepen that engagement, the way we are learning from all of you, and many different engagements which are happening. We are constantly trying to learn and relearn, and what new can happen through these dialogues. We are trying to bring that in. Uh, so at Art First also, when I'm talking about Art First, of course, as we go ahead, as a structure of today's program, uh, we'll know a little more about Art First also. We know a little bit more about Harmandir as a school also, and also through Krupa, we'll know about her engagement about the about the as a grantee, how she worked in this school. But just little bit to add little more to art first. Art first is also art first has two verticals, where on one hand we have art education program running in so many through different programs, and on the other hand we also have our publications. where which is headed by Ayushi. Ayushi is here with us today. And there are multiple interesting publications Art First is publishing every year continuously, which are about the contemporary art practices in India, and also various art traditions in India, and how to take them and introduce to especially to young readers. That is the context in which the publication is shaping up. And on the other hand, there is art education program. So before, like, instead of me telling about the art education program, what we are today going to do, after this, Sukruti from Art First will take us through what Art First is, Art First as organization. Once Sukruti has done that, Achal will come in, and Achal will take us through, talk to us about the grant, this artist educator grant, and he will also introduce Kripa to all of us. Once Achal has done that, this is the structure I'm just sharing with you for today's conversation. I will invite Raghu Anna to tell us a little bit more about the school, the Harmandir school. I'm sure everyone really is eager to know about what the school is about, how it functions, and the philosophy. And once Raghu Anna has shared with us about this school, we give mic to Kripa. And Kripa will tell us about her engagement with teachers, with children, and with the school for last 1 year. And she will have something around like 30 minutes or so, wherein which she will do a visual presentation, and she will also speak, which is followed up by the teachers, where we also have Harmandi teachers today with us. They will take us through their own engagement and experience through this 1 year of engagement. And once that is done, we'll open it up for the question answers or any other observations or sharing. And please also wait till the end, because we have some interesting surprise where Shreshi will tell us or bring in some small announcement for all of us. So I hope all of us enjoy this presentation. With that, I give to Sukruti. Yes, Sukruti.
Thank you, Lokesh. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sukriti Dutt. I have been an artist mentor with Art1st for more than 2.5 years. So today, just expanding on what Lokesh said, I'll just tell you a little about Art1st, the organization. So Art1st is nearly a 15-year-old organization that has been actively working in the field of art education in school spaces across India. Through various approaches, Art1st is closely engaged with school educators and children in private, government, and foundation run schools, along with several community libraries. And each space in which we have worked has contributed to shape and reshape the work we do. This helps us to strengthen our connection with the educators and the young students. Art1st's aim has been to create learning environments that help the development of a child's imagination, enhance their visual literacy, and cultivate creative skills and cultural awareness among both students and educators. This vision of Art First was conceptualized by our founder, Ritu Koda, who was supposed to join this session but unfortunately couldn't because she's a little unwell today. So, the work we have done so far for so many years has been possible because of the relentless effort of several art educators who have worked with us as artist mentors and continue to do so. They come from various fields and usually are contemporary artists, authors, designers, filmmakers, educators, and historians. Our office is primarily based in Delhi, but we work with many freelance artists across the country who bring their specialized skill sets to make our approaches very wholesome. So, this is the general background of the organization. And after this, I'll pass on to Achal to expand on the session.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's very lovely to see all of you together here. And I work as an artist mentor with Art1st, and my work mostly inquires around gender and sexuality. Expanding on the grant, the Art1st Artist Educator Grant is awarded to the artist educator whose practice engages with art pedagogy, especially in the space of formal as well as informal school education. The grant aims to create a dynamic space where artist educators can collaborate with the teachers to enrich art teaching or art integrated teaching through methodological innovations for teachers in school spaces, as well as empower children and young individuals from different social locations and marginalized communities by addressing contextual specificities as well as opening up a wider world of learning. Art1st invited Kripa as the first artist educator grantee for the year 2023-24. Kripa engaged with the teachers and children exploring art pedagogy in the Harmandir Primary School in Madikeri, Kodagu, Karnataka. Raghuvanna from Harmandir will share more about the school later, but for now, please allow me to introduce our very own Kripa. Uh, Kripa is an illustrator and writer based in Mumbai. The characters in her books are real people derived from her association with the grassroots. Her art is rooted in her engagement with her city, Mumbai, its children, people, and their problems. She is committed to making books accessible to children from all walks of life by helping communities set up libraries. Kripa took up teaching art and design after completing fine arts from Sir J.J. School of Art. She has been an educator for over 19 years and worked with institutions like Srishti School of Art, Design and Technology, and is currently working with Ecole Intuit Lab. I would now invite Raghuvanna to share more about her Mandir School. Over to you.
Thank you, Achal. Good afternoon, everyone. So myself, Raghu. I'm working as a principal in Harmandir School. So Harmandir, basically we used to call it as sanctuary and the learning space. So a unit of IKF, so which is located in Madikeri, Kur, Karnataka. Harmandir offers a primary education for economically disadvantaged family and perhaps for first generation learner, those who are coming here now. So most of the children from the first generation learner, so in and around Madikeri as well as Karnataka. So we started the primary school in 2019 June with 20 children. As of now, we are having 120 children from LKG to 6th standard. Out of 120 children, so we are having 100 children's residential in our premises. So our focus is to giving an holistic education and as well as holistic development of for the children with lot of outdoor activity through farm-based integrated learning, project-based learning, giving rich multi-sensory experiences. This is what our of our Harmandir school. And also we want our children to take pride in staying back in the rural area. So everyone moving towards the city and the Politan city and all. So our children should pride about staying back in their rural area. And also they have why rural areas are wonderful place to stay, discovery and study, play, and in future development here only. They have to be self-sustained. So our vision is to empower 1 million family in community around our sanctuary. This is something about our Harman. So this is giving me opportunity to talk about the Harmandir. And last 1.5 2 years, we have been collaborating with the Art1st team. So it was a wonderful journey, I would say, and especially with the Krupa and how she explored with our team. And we done a small project on Kaveri. She's going to talk about. So over to Achalana. Thank you.
Uh, thank you so much, Raghuvanna. And as Radhika ji is also there with us, Radhika ji, who is the director at Harmandir, and she is very closely nurturing Harmandir as a school. Radhika ji, would you also like to share something or say something before we start with Krupa? And
Yeah, namaste,
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah, namaste to all. Indeed, a large crowd. Very nice to see all of you and interest in Art1st and the work that Art1st is doing. So thank you for joining and thank you for showing the interest in hearing about the project and learning what happened really there between Kripa and the team of facilitators in Harmandir. To add to what Raghavendra has already mentioned, I would just like to tell one more thing, is art is the center of Harmandir. It's a fulcrum in Harmandir. We have given art a very, very important place in the curriculum, right from kindergarten. So everything and all forms of art, not necessarily one form. So there is a lot of multisensorial experiences which children get, and they express it through art in, in all forms. So hence when Ritu, who is the founder of this place, and I started to talk about, what really they do and what really we do, she found it very exciting to get Kripa in as before Kripa in, there were other art educators who from Art1st who were also there in Har Mandir, and they kind of changed the transformed the way the teachers really think, which cascaded down into the classrooms. And then Ritu thought about engaging Kripa here in a very interesting manner. Kripa, in a very creative manner, Kripa has engaged with teachers, which I think we are all very eager to hear. So I will hand it over from here to Art1st and Kripa. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Radhika ji, and thank you so much for this 2 years of believing in the program and all support that, and something this we are going to continue much further.
Yes.
And, yes. And from here, yes, Kripa, mic is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for the lovely, kind words. I'm going to delve straight into my presentation. Please let me know if everyone can see my screen as I share it. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
I would like to thank you, Lokesh. I'll start the presentation of how I went about, with the grant program, with this poem by Loris Malagui. No way the 100 is there. The child is made of 100. The child has 100 languages, 100 hands, 100 thoughts, 100 ways of thinking, of playing, of speaking, 100 ways of listening, of marveling, of loving, 100 joys for singing and understanding, 100 worlds to discover, 100 worlds to invent, 100 worlds to dream. The child has 100 languages and 100 more, but they steal 99. The school, the culture separate the head from the body. They tell the child to think without hands, to do without head, to listen and not to speak, to understand without joy, to love and to marvel. Only at Easter and Christmas, they tell the child to discover the world already there, and of the 100, they steal 99. They tell the child that work and play, reality and fantasy, science and imagination, sky and earth, reason and dream are things that do not belong together. And thus, they tell the child that the 100 is not there. The child says, no way, the 100 is there. I was dealing with, designing an art integrated curriculum for a school that I have never been to before. I live in Bombay, and I've never met the teachers. I had never met the teachers and the children, and I was to design a curriculum for the school. And I come with my own set of ideas of the Western civilized world, with my biases and entitlement. So the attempt had been to design the pedagogical structure in collaboration with the teachers. So in my first visit to the school, my approach as an artist educator was to enable the defamiliarization effect, which takes the teachers away, in which I wanted to take the teachers away from the mere act of acting according to habit. Most of us as adults are on autopilot mode. So my first session with the teachers, which was an online session, I still remember the first ever session with the teachers was on Gestalt theory, which basically breaks down the way our brain sees and perceives images. It sees and perceives visuals and further interprets, how the brain then builds up a set of ideas, recognition patterns, and biases. And in cognitive psychology, it is termed rudimentary cognition. So then we try to understand why we have come to believe in certain ideas that are laid out for us by society, by family structures, and so on. And from here, I sort of forayed into gender studies and delving into gender issues. There we discussed and understood what are implicit biases that we all carry. We know that we, of course, our society is, we are filled with biases. All of us are filled with biases. Some are more explicit, but there are many that are implicit within us. We all carry them within us. And here is a small example that I want to state today, that Harvard University actually conducted a small survey in classrooms across different countries, where they observed different teachers who teach different disciplines like maths, science, liberal arts, and so on. And what the study observed is that when the teacher is teaching science in the class, the teacher tends to look more towards boys in the class. When the teacher is teaching math, the teacher tends to look more towards boys again. When it comes to liberal arts, the teacher looks towards girls. And one of the way, and these are some statistics which are actual studies that are that show us that these are some of the biases that we carry. And then later on, we also know that our engineering colleges and our liberal art colleges, our engineering colleges are filled with boys, and liberal arts and art colleges are filled with girls. And why does this happen? And it happens from very early years of classroom and these gender biases that we carry within us. And so one of the ways of countering this bias is by alternate and unconventional methodologies in teaching these subjects, whether it is maths, science, geography, and so on. And art often counters and challenges gender norms and biases. Like Radhika ji just mentioned, that the school believes in the philosophy of art, where art believes in challenging gender norms and the prejudice that we carry. So an understanding and recognition that we do carry these biases for all the teachers and me became an imperative. This was my first day at Harmandir School campus, where I just went about walking around the school campus and soaking in the school campus. It's so beautiful. The school is in Kodagu district of Karnataka, which is fully enclosed in the Western Ghats, which we know that Western Ghats comprises of the evergreen moist deciduous forest. And the school is situated in a place which is called Katikeri, in the town of Madikeri, amidst the thick of coffee plantations. And Harmandir is a tiny school housing around 120 children and close to 12 to 13 teachers now. And some of the teachers are residential teachers, and some visit also at the school campus, and most of the children are residential children. These are the classroom, the pictures of the classrooms. The classrooms are built in octagonal shape, making it very airy and full of natural light. The idea of the big windows are for children to peer outside as much as inside the classroom. And the children lovingly call the classrooms kotiras. So I first visited the school in May 2023 and spent nearly 10 days at the campus. I stayed with the in-house teachers and the children, and ate with them the freshly cooked meals using the produce, so the vegetables and the food grains actually come from the farm that they have. There's a vegetable garden in the school campus, and of course the campus is also surrounded by forests. So whatever we could forage and get and pluck and bring is usually cooked. And most of these days, the initial few days, I was just sketching and I was painting and I was clicking pictures and trying to understand the landscape. Am I still audible?
Yes, yes.
So Raghu Anna, who you've just met, and we call him Raghu Anna. His name is Raghavendra sir. And this is Lipika. For a few days, I was, when I first actually went to the school, and my first night that I spent in the school campus, I had a dreadful night. I barely slept because there were 6.
Kripa, we are losing your voice.
With me to help me overcome my fear of geckos, and she actually did. While speaking with Lipika and the teachers and the other children, what I realized is that although I could not communicate in Kannada, which is the native language that the children and the teachers and staff speak in, but I was still comfortable because they all these the teachers, the staff and the children comfortably trans-languaged from Kannada to Tamil to Malayalam, Telugu, Kodava, Tulu, Are Kannada, Irula, Toda, Paniya, Kodavatak, and so many other languages that are spoken. When we mapped the different languages that are spoken in the school, the number of languages that children actually, the children who come from in and around the school, who are also tribal children, they are from different communities, and they speak we listed around close to 17 to 18 languages. So when Purnima Akka, one of the teachers who will be presenting today, she speaks only Tamil, and when she actually joined the school never demanded her to learn Kannada. It was very easy for her, and she still felt comfortable and at home in the classroom as the children spoke multiple languages. So during my stay at Harmandir School, in the first week and the remaining 6 months, we focused on creating multilingual teaching aids and charts and teaching materials. I'd like to tell you a little about why we try to focus on multilingual education so much, and we spend nearly I think 2 to 3 months talking about the importance of multilingual education. So what I believe is that children in India come into classrooms, knowing 100 languages and go back home having just learned one. So the medium of facilitation is usually just one in the classroom. Either it's English or the state language that is spoken in the state and which is imposed on the children. And the multiple issues that we face in classrooms where children come with multiple languages, knowing multiple languages, but only one medium of instruction is often often taught, is that one of the challenges is that exclusion of the child's prior knowledge and experiences, ideas and thoughts and emotions, exclusion of their social and cultural identities, delegitimization of the children's mother tongue and oral languages. Even the teachers find it difficult to communicate with the learners in such sort of a classroom. So this is Visalakshama. What the multilingual, kind of education, this pedagogical intervention did, where we tried to make charts, teaching aids, teaching materials in multiple languages that are spoken in and around Kodagu, is that it actually brought in people from the community into the classroom. So we had parents of children who actually participated and helped us create these charts. I know that teachers, of course, belong to different, the teachers themselves bring in the linguistic plurality in the classroom in Harmandir School. And so do the children. But even the community actually participated in this sort of an activity, where Visalakshama, who's a staff member in the school, and she was so empowered. She felt so empowered and happy that she could participate in creating something with us. So in the first 6 months, some of the online sessions that we conducted with the teachers, including mapping and mathematics, identifying and preparing natural dyes, identifying different trees, identifying different flowers and natural vegetation around the school campus, which could be then used to prepare natural dyes, and tessellation, art and architecture, and so on. When I first came back to Bombay after my first visit to Harmandir School, I was far richer by many, many folds, knowing and gathering, having learned so much from the school, its people, the children, and Kodagu. This is when the teachers and I, who were now very familiar with each other, I think we had already passed 6 months by now, and that's when we actually conceived the Kaveri River project. So the Kaveri River project was to make water the theme. River Kaveri actually originates in Kodagu, which passes through its forests and terrains. The river is then an important part of the Kodava culture. Its festival, so every festival of the Kodava clan is also based on the River Kaveri. What you see over here is singer and actor Shobha Shubhaya ma'am, who we had the greatest honor. Actually, Raghavendra sir took us to her place, and she was really, it was really wonderful of her to invite us and have us in her house, and she indulged us in some of the songs that she has written and composed on various themes in Kodava language, in Kannada, and many other languages. But here, what she is trying to do in this photograph is that she's trying to sing to us a song which she had written and composed, a song on River Kaveri. So thus we started collecting songs, art, culture. We started visiting museums and different archival materials in museums and so on, which could give us some lead as to how the project could actually shape, what we could do with the project, and so on. But of course, most of it was on field. Water defies boundaries. Yet when maps are drawn, we know that water is represented as a meandering line, as a mere meandering line in a map. The width of the water body is never considered. Now, just take a look at this picture, which actually is a photograph of an NCERT EVS textbook of class 3. Our textbooks also have often shaped our linear and unidimensional way of looking at water, terrains, and geography. So art making then becomes a means to reveal our tacit and complicit understanding of landscapes and geographies. So our method of inquiry for the Kaveri River project operated between 3 environments. The first being the field, that is the field visits that we made, where we walk slowly along the course of the river, the entire course of the river, starting from Talakaveri, which is the starting point of the river, where the river actually originates, to Kushal Nagara, to several other places. I think we also went to Valnur. This photograph is of Valnur and so on. So we walked slowly along the course of the river. We photographed, we drew, we collected samples along the. We collected samples of the vegetation, soil, water, etc. But also keeping an eye and ear tuned to the movement, material, horizon, terrain, and the ecosystem. Our second line of inquiry was archival materials like books, collecting stories, as I showed you earlier, that we would visit people, talk to them, research scientists, environmentalists, Shobha Shobhaya singers, cultural archivists, and so on, and collected stories from them and compilations, and which actually helped legitimize and substantiate our fieldwork. And then the last line of inquiry was, method of inquiry was in classrooms with children, where we re-visualized placemaking and ventured into new possibilities and problem solving along with the children. So one of the things that actually came about, in the classroom, this activity actually came about, from interacting with the children. This was actually proposed by the children themselves. Where we took our students outdoor, and we take the children outdoor, and we make an informed lesson and open up ideas of sensorial learning by traveling, by taking in and breathing and building. So we had a field visit to Harnai Dam, which was built over the river Harangi, which is a tributary to river Kaveri. After which there were classroom discussions about dams and rivers, and the children then engaged in dam building at a small stream of water in the school campus. So building the dam then allowed us to test, expand, transform our methods of inquiry. Among the many collaborators and contributors who enriched us with their expertise, I'd like to show you. This is CJ Ayyappa sir. I don't know if he's joined us today. He said he would, from the Coorg Wildlife Society, who actually took us on slow walks along a 35-kilometer stretch of the Kaveri River, which is leased out to the organization for a few years. And every few years, they renew the lease, where the organization then indulges in conservation of the river, its ecology, and so on. And he was instrumental in in talking about where he explained to us as we walked and spoke about the conservation effort by the society, the critically endangered orange-finned mahshir, which is endemic to the Western Ghats. And he now joined. I think he may have joined us today at the presentation. He also told me that he'd be telling the teachers and the school that he'd be very happy to collaborate and work and take this work forward with the school. So I'm hoping that we can take this project forward with such organizations. And here are some pictures that I've compiled together of the books that really helped us shape our understanding of a more holistic understanding of the geographies that surround us, and of water and many such things. And here with Tamu Puvaya sir and a few others from the community who helped us understand the relationship of Coorg, the Kaveri River, coffee plantations, and the interconnectivity of all these, and how one issue leads to another, and how all of them are actually interlinked. And thus, I'd like to conclude. I don't know if I still have time, but I don't want to continue.
Yes, you have time, Kripa.
Lokesh, how much time do I have?
You have almost 15 minutes with
Oh,
you.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So I'd also like to talk a little bit about the interconnectedness of the coffee plantation. As we spoke to Tamu Puvaya sir, I think even the teachers would be happy to add to what I'm saying, is that, he spoke extensively about how coffee, which is the largest product that is exported from Coorg today, and that actually contributes majorly to the economy of Coorg, is so heavily interconnected with with the river Kaveri, and why the river Kaveri is gradually, as we see the political issues of river Kaveri and how the river Kaveri is drying up gradually. And what he also told us is the connection of the fruit trees. So the two kinds of coffees that are grown in Coorg is coffee Arabica and coffee Robusta. Now, coffee Arabica is a coffee plant that requires a lot of shade. And in order to provide shade to coffee Arabica, there are many fruit trees that initially actually, covered the entire Kodagu range of forests. But gradually, coffee Robusta, which is a low maintenance coffee, is being gradually planted across Coorg. Because it's low maintenance, it does not require that much shade. So coffee Robusta is more preferred. It requires less labor. Coffee Arabica is labor intensive. And so what he also told us is that silver oak trees, which are now planted, which are more preferred over the native trees of Coorg and Kodagu, especially more endemic trees of the Western Ghats, are being cut down, and then how that kind of impacts the entire ecosystem, and then thus we also see lesser rainfall. We also get lesser rainfall in the area, and so the rivers are drying up, and how the entire system is interconnected, and thus and also timber lobbying and so much more that he actually contributed to the richness of the project, and so on. And so many of this that actually may not be directly translated into our pedagogical, into our classrooms, but somewhere they will indirectly benefit us as as people who are living over there, or people who are studying these terrains, and so on. And then further translate and then translates into the classroom teaching methodologies and so on. And so I'm concluding over here, with just by letting you know that here is a school that is trying to break free from the culture that we live in today, that that largely emphasizes on singular methodologies of thinking and knowledge system, and thus by making art its focus, ecology its focus, is making deeper connections with nature, and through art-based learning, and the teachers and the children then become the proponents of ecological and cultural communities. And so when we actually concluded the project, the many ideas that transpired from the project, one of the ideas that transpired from the project was to create a water museum with the many archival materials, all of these archival materials that we had gathered, the much documentation that we had done, the many people, the resources that we had collected, and so on. And if we were looking at possibilities of how we could take this project forward, and one of the ideas was creating a living water museum, with a water lab for children to constantly engage and experiment with, and try out different ideas, and also make water a constant topic of discussion, and not something which is looked at as in the context of history, or something which we can look at as a calamity that's going to strike us, which is much a cyclonic calamity, or any water-based calamity that is going to strike us in a distant past, in a distant future. So making water a constant topic of discussion and thus creating water labs within the museum, having a space for discussions for such topics, for such cultural, topographical, geographical, and many other intersectional conversations that we could possibly have, a physical as well as an online sort of a space that we could possibly create. And all of these creations would have to be in collaboration and in contribution of not just the teachers of Harmandir School, not just the children of Harmandir School, not just Art1st, but also everyone who's present over here, artists, writers, creators, book creators, educators, people who are working in design field, who are teaching design, and so on. So this project is something that we are really looking forward to taking forward in the forthcoming months. Thank you. And I'm going to stop my presentation here.
Thank you so much, Kripa. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I audible? Thank you so much, Kripa, for this wonderful presentation and the journey that you took with all the teachers at Harmandir, and not just teachers, the Harmandir family with whom you spent this 1 year, and this is also something which is actually not stopping here, but it is only actually initiating and something which is going to grow from here, as you have also thought about and you are talking about it already. We'll come back to that, but it will be really lovely and insightful to hear some of the teachers who are also here with us, and if they like to share some of their insights or experiences with us. Yeah, Kripa, if you can invite them, and yeah. Kripa, can you please invite them, because I might not. I think Kripa can't.
Yeah, Kripa is frozen, I
Kripa
think.
is frozen, I think. Radhika ji, can you please help? Yeah.
Yeah, Decham.
I don't know the answer, but Raghavendra, could you
Yeah,
Raghu sir. Yeah.
Yeah, Dechama, you can go ahead.
Yes. Namaste all. I am Dechama. Over the past 2 years, we had the privilege of working with Art1st team. This partnership has been incredibly enriching our knowledge. We are not only focusing about Kaveri River project and all. With this, we did many activities. We discussed about many things. For example, gender bias. It helps us to understanding how to recognize and address it. I mentioned about this. I know mapping system. This we did many mapping, different types of mapping we did. This helps us to understand and visualize and better understanding of complex information. And one more thing, we are focusing facilitation and integration. For our Harmandir school, this is a key skill. This facilitation skill and integration skills help us to more write to lesson plan and implement in our class. I'm thankful for the Art1st team. You're encouraging us to learn more. Now I'm going to hand over to our other facilitator, Saliha.
Thank you so much. Yes, yes, Saliha.
Over to you. Thank you.
Hello? Okay, I'm Saliha.
Go ahead.
Working as a teacher facilitator. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I'm Saliha, working as a teacher facilitator for the early childhood that comes from kindergarten to 2nd standard. So the Kaveri project, which we are under that project for more than 6 months. So it has helped our children to take this curriculum, to incorporate this to our curriculum to another level. So what happened is, like, we are born in Kodagu as a native. We are using the Kaveri river, and the children are also using the same river, and we are witnessing the natural ecosystem.
So it was very easy for us to connect with the children. So after having a very 1 week prolonged research, we wanted to take that project to our very tiny tots. So for the children also, like they were being in Kodagu district and witnessing all these ecosystem, natural things and everything, it was a bit easy for us to connect with them. And we wanted, as a facilitator, we wanted to know like how children would connect to this river. So with very fun activities like clay, strings, collecting all the natural things and everything. We gave the all the things. I mean, they collected all the things, and they did some their own imaginary river. So for them, it was like all flows, all the water flows are like river, and everything they would say like it was Kaveri. So as Kripaka told, the children created the dance, natural dance with some very small streams, very tiny. Also, that's from LKG to second standard. These children also help these older children, that is from 3rd to 6th standard, in constructing dam, not in the way they directly help, but they observed the dam building of the older children, and they created the very imaginary, and it was a very beautiful activity. They collected some of the stones, twigs, and everything, and they did a very beautiful, their own kuti dance. And they also tried pouring water into that, and they could witness like whether the water is stopping by that preservative or something, and they would come with some of the other problem solving discussion also. So it was a very fun activity for our children. So with this, we are not only connecting with the cognitive part, but as a very young child, we are trying to develop their skills, like age-appropriate skills, like socio-emotional, the fine motor skills, and their thinking ability. All those things we are focusing, and we are expecting. We are taking at this curriculum, this fun activity to another level. And we are next year we are going to continue with some of the brainstorming activity. Like we are looking forward how we could take this. Hand over my one of my facilitators, Sridevi, who has taken care of the older children, and she would explain how did she take over this project to their children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Talia, for this wonderfully sharing all the explorations. Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Sridevi, working as a teacher facilitator for the children starting from preparatory stage to middle years, that from 3rd standard to 6th standard. The Kaveri project helped us to understand. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The Kaveri project helped us to understand Mother Kaveri in depth from many aspects. It made us to recall the stories surrounding Kaveri, and also the roles played by the river Kaveri while flowing, and also the physical features of India. The Kaveri project helped us to relearn about river Kaveri. When we shared our learnings, experiences with the children, it made them to discuss about the sources of water. And it led to debate them on what are the sources of water. Is seawater is also a source of water? Is seawater is source of water? Is it drinking water? How? Why? So many discussions, debates happened on that. They supported their answers with some of their thoughts. And children created word web on sources of water. That sources of water, children taken that to the next level by discussing ideas on how to conserve this source of water. Children, before last year, children were working the vegetable patch, they came up with some sort of water scarcity. So they wanted to solve that problem by group discussing what can we do for to conserve these water resources. So near the Harmandir campus, we have one stream flowing. So children thought, can we use that stream for irrigating our vegetable patch? So they came up with the idea of building a dam. So children applied some of their ideas, applied whatever concept they learned earlier, and with the ideas, they tried to build dam on the stream using sandbags, grass, sticks and all. While building up the dam also, children came up with many of the challenges, but peer discussion, group discussion helped them to come up with those challenges. It was a wonderful scene. Their discussions, digging, different varieties of activities came out at that time. This year, this project helped the children to experience and understand types of energies also. Follow-up activity also help them to understand it more. For example, kinetic energy, muscular energy, potential energy, because they had experience in that. It also helped them to integrate all the subjects. After the dam building activity, children wrote about the work they did. So it connects them to language too. This year, we would like to take the project further under the sub-themes water conservation and crop selection, and also examine history of River Kaveri water dispute. And art is heart of Harmandir. So all children works are displayed through the bulletin board work, and this what Kripaka taught us, tessellation work, natural colors, creating natural colors are all helped us to exhibit children's works. Children only displayed all their works through tessellation work, craft work, drawing and coloring through bulletin board. And gender bias day also we are going to implement this year. So it was a wonderful experiences we got from last 1 year with Art1st team and Kripa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sri Devi. Yeah, may I now request more teachers to share?
Hi. Purnimaka.
Do we have Teacher Maka's presentation? Sahana,
I would
No
not.
presentation at all. Purnimaka going to continue now.
Sure.
There is a network issue. Maybe you can keep the video off and voice on. That might help.
Hi.
Yes, yes.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
I could like to share some practical problem facing around Kaveri. Although Kaveri river is taken birth here, I feel that major part of this is used by other district people, especially Mandya, Tamil Nadu. They are using this water for agriculture purpose. We do not mainly rely
river for agriculture because our major crop grown in Coorg is where we grown in slope area. So I feel that we do not rely on stored water. As we get good rainfall, that could be enough. We got flood in 2019 because of destroying the natural resources like cutting down the trees and building resorts, homestay, etc. Sudden climate change in Coorg. Early, like 10 years ago, people in Coorg, we do not use AC fan on but now due to sudden climate change, we mostly rely on the fan and AC during this summer. Even most of the houses using AC in the summer. This is how the natural climate changes are being happening here. So I feel the collaboration between Art1st and Harmandir with this project could be an effective one, as it could lead to more and more exploration, ideas for the children to think, act, etc. So we are all glad and lucky being the part of this Art1st project.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Akka.
Who will be going next? Maybe we can take 5 more minutes and yeah.
Almost all teachers are
Is it?
speaking. Yes.
Is there any question or clarification? That time they can pitch in.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, all the Akkas, teachers of Harmandir, for your wonderful sharing. And actually, we are sure that there is much more than that that is happening and has happened, which I'm sure within this small discussion model doesn't really come across, and with the time limit and everything, because experience is much more larger than this. And which I'm sure might also come across in the question answer also in some of the conversation that will take place from here. Just before opening up for the question answers and the conversation, I also like to add where the Krupa and all the teachers also have finished their dialogue, their presentation. Uh, like for example, where Kripa had ended her presentation by opening it up the scope, not by closing it by that there is a project which is finished by after 1 year. But this is only a possibility that has opened up in through this engagement by understanding only by coming together, actually, by exploring more and more, not individually but together. And there is a interesting possibility that Kripa has also come up with as a, we can say, as a project, as a possibility, as a proposal, which we are also trying to see how we can also take it forward at the Harmandir school, as well as also at other places also, where different kinds of supports might be needed to take this up further. But we can come back to that little later, and would love to open it up here for taking up your questions, and maybe Krupa can answer us. And Krupa, in between also, Krupa's place electricity had gone. So I hope now it is back and she's here with us. Yeah. So please share your questions one by one. And maybe initially we can take 3 questions together and Krupa can answer, and then we can take the next 3 questions together. Yeah, please. You can raise your hand or open your mic. Or, yeah. And please also give your name when you're asking a question. uh, Maybe on the screen we can't see the hand, so you can open your mic and please ask. Or if you have a reflection. Uh,
Okay, I just have a small observation and a question. So first of all, thank you, Krupa, and all the teachers for sharing your experiences. It was wonderful listening to it. And I was just wondering about the museum, Krupa, and has the process begun? And what is the form that you imagine it taking, or also the teachers, if they are beginning to uh, bring it into some kind of a shape? And one observation was that I found it interesting that many of your approaches, Krupa, are in some ways, like you said, indirectly feeding into the pedagogical kind of resources, because it didn't appear applied in any way in terms of, just take some methods and apply them into the classroom, but rather as kind of expanding the horizon of the teachers and of the people involved in the community. So that seemed very interesting to me. Yeah.
Okay, so Shefali has a question. Anyone else? Achal, you have a question? Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, please,
Didn't.
Mr.
Yeah.
Surya can go ahead first.
Yes, Surya, please.
So, actually, you can go ahead if you want to. If you have a question, I can ask you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So, Kripa, I thank you for sharing, and it was lovely to listen to the teachers as well. I just had a question that if you could share more about your exploration on the gender lens that you spoke about. Yeah. Yes, Surya, sir, please.
So, thank you. Thank you, Achal. So, Kripa and all the teachers from Harman School, I think it was fabulous listening to you. And I hope each river of this country should go through the process which you have begun. So it's not only about Kaveri, but for us also, for me, when I was listening to this experience, I was also thinking about a river which flows through my district in Bihar. And I feel that this has been the entire approach has been a very contextual one, plus also very inclusive, where you also were quite related to the child-centric approach. Uh, my question is, I would just like to know how were in terms of, because you spent a lot of time in preparation with the teachers. So when you were preparing or when you were designing these sessions, so uh, was at some stage the children's thoughts or children's views were also came in, and even if not during the process, as you progressed ahead during your journey, when different stages children were involved, what learnings from children's insights were taken into this project? Yeah, so
Thanks, Surya. So, Kripa, maybe we can go with these three questions, and then take up more. Yeah.
Sure. Hi, Shefali. Thank you for your question. So about the water museum that you asked me, how the physical shape that is that we are looking at a
Kripa, thoda voice cut ho raha hai.
museum. Am I audible?
Kripa, maybe you can come a little more closer.
Am I audible?
Yeah, now you are audible. Yes.
Yeah. No, so Shefali, thank you for your question. The water museum will have to be a physical space, Shefali. And audible?
You're
Am I not audible?
Audible.
So the water museum has to be a physical space, is how we envision it, Shefali, because it is for children. The idea is to bring in children of Harmandir School, but not simply Harmandir School, but also the children of Kodagu together, and somewhere look at social justice, when it comes to distribution of water, when it comes to water issues and so on. So empowering children to be equal contributors in problems, urban problem solving is the idea. So as of now, what we are envisioning is a physical space. But to begin with, we do have, of course, for the physical space, we do have the school campus, which is quite large, and the school itself actually sits in the middle of the coffee, this huge coffee estate, and they do have, and they have a gaushala, they have a little pond at the back, and they have a little farmland, they have a little vegetable patch where they grow vegetables, and there is ample space for the water museum to encompass all of this. So as of now, we are thinking about a physical space to begin with, and then also have an online sort of a space, because there are many collaborators like us who are not in Kodagu. So there will have to be an online a web platform also for the water museum.
Yeah, just to maybe add, Kripa, what you were sharing, because this whole 1 year when Kripa was engaging, so Kripa, Radhika ji, and myself and our team, we were continuously in dialogue also when the ideas were growing, and we were a lot of to and fro interesting conversations were happening around these ideas. And we were also thinking, actually, it can be very interesting when we think about a school or a classroom. It is always the idea is a very, whatever shape it becomes, it's a very static kind of thing. Well, what if there is even though it is called museum, or maybe there can be another name to it, but what happens with an idea like this is actually now it's in constant flux. There's no particular in kind, only one kind of shape, but it's a constant growing with the new children coming into it, and constant generation of knowledge production from not just from teacher, but also participating children are producing there. And these are the kind of dialogue that we had been having, and we were quite excited also how it can be shaped up by not just one artist, but maybe someone like Krupa who taking it ahead, but many more people step by step joining, whether they are whether not necessarily only artists, actually from different walks of life. So yeah, just I wanted to add that.
Thanks, Lokesh. Yeah.
Achal's question is
Achal,
there
yes.
on.
Hi, Achal. Thank you for this question. And I know that the space that you are coming from, it makes a very important question as well. In fact, when I first went to Kodagu, one of the things that I forgot to mention in the presentation, and I'm glad that you brought it up in the question answer round, that one of the things that I initially proposed to do with the teachers is to have a discussion on class issues, caste issues, because the school, we are talking about Kodagu. We're talking about coffee plantation, tea plantation, and wherever there is plantation across India, we've seen that there have been class issues and caste issues as well. So this became a very important discussion in the classroom also. So before I actually came into the classroom, I had the first day free to myself. So I visited General Timaya Museum. And in the museum, I happened to see one of the exhibits of a colonial style bathtub, where the bathtub does not have any faucets to fill water into, whereas there would be the foot soldiers or the people who would be working, the people in the house who are working, they would actually fill up the bathtub, and then the lady of the house would be using it, and then this became an interesting study in the classroom with the teachers. So when I presented that photograph and I asked them what they thought about this became a starting point for gender studies. Then another thing that really the teachers actually delved into more deeply is when it came to showing certain pictures from images, illustrations from textbooks that we are so used to where the traditional role of women in say illustrations in textbooks, where the mother is shown often in a stereotypical gender role, or even a pilot. Say nowadays the textbooks are trying to be more inclusive, where we do we do bring in illustrations of a woman pilot and so on. But even raising questions about her clothes, as to why our idea of feminism is still very restricted, where she is still in a man's clothes. She's still trying to fit into the gender role that is described by the society and so on. So those sort of things became starting point where teachers actually then forayed further deeper into discussing about gender studies. And then they also added their own context. They brought in their own context and their own stories, their personal experiences that enriched the discussion. So that actually went on for nearly 2 sessions or so, and then there were never any activities that we further took forward, but it was only discussion and talking intensive.
Yeah.
Thanks, Krupa.
Kripa, Surya also has had a question.
Yes, I
about
heard
the
Surya's
children's,
question. I hope I answered your
participation.
question, Achal.
Yes, definitely. Thanks.
Thanks, Achal. Surya, thank you for your question. Actually, Surya, my entire, the 1 year was with the teachers of Harmandir School. So I rarely actually got to interact with the children. Your question about how the children took this forward, the teachers would be able to answer this best. As I think Sridevi Akka briefly touched upon it when she was telling us about the hydraulic projects that they did and the mathematical projects that they took forward and so on. But my role was only because I also went to the school during summer holidays when the children were not there. And only the in-house children who I used to meet after our sessions got over with the teachers, I would meet them in the evening for lunches and for dinners is when I actually met the children who were in-housed, housed in the campus. But otherwise, I never really got to meet them, other than the only time when we did the dam building activity. That was the only activity with the children that we did.
Okay,
But
so
I look forward to engaging with with the children now in the coming months.
Yeah. So Surya
I'm
also.
trying to answer your question.
Yes.
I
Who
mean,
is speaking? Yeah.
yeah, Deshama.
Yes.
Mainly here we focus on 4 domains: social, emotional, personal, cognitive, and language, physical. This activity is what we did with our children. These activities help us in 4 domains also. Emotionally, they practice working together in teams, which helped them to learn how to share and listen to others' ideas. They felt proud when they succeed and learned to be patient when things did not go planned as what they planned. In the time, they quite be patient. Cognitively, students discovered how water flows, how dams work, control it. They used problem solving skills there to figure out best way to build their dam. They also thought critically about dams can help people and the environment. They in their classes this discussion going on. And physically, the activity allowed students to use their hands to build the dam, which improved their fine motor skills. They also moved around, work with materials which help with their gross motor skill also. In the term of language development, students learn new words related river and dam. They practice talking about their ideas and explaining what they were doing. They also listen their classmates and friends' questions and their idea also, which help them to understanding better. They, while doing activity, they are helping each others. Peer group learning, we can see here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akka.
Thank you.
I can see Radhika ji has, yeah.
Yeah, I just thought I'll respond to what Mr. Surya was asking about whether children were engaged. The primary aim of collaborating with Art1st was to enhance or amplify the professional competence of the educators already there, because the higher the thinking and the professional competence of the teachers, more it will cascade down into the classroom. So the idea was not really to take this whole project to the children initially, but to build the competence, which I think Kripa has touched on, like sensitivity, on caste, and on the environmental sensitivity. Although I'm there, almost all the educators are local, are from in and around Coorg. So Kaveri is very, very special to them. There is a sanctity around River Kaveri. So I think their sensitivity and their awareness to Kaveri must have manifold because of this intervention. So that was, I just wanted to clarify that with him. And there was one feedback I received, and saying that museum, this is apart from the question, the word museum doesn't fit so much for the river, which is so fluid and alive. So maybe we can think about that, Kripa.
Yeah. Thanks, Radhika ji, and all of you for your questions. Now, I think I can also see Neeti. Neeti has also raised her hand. Yes, please, Neeti.
Hi, I'm Neeti Mahesh. I'm based out of Coorg district. I actually also work with schools, teachers and children. So I worked with 10 schools all along the river, focusing on river ecology, and not just river ecology. When we're talking about river ecology, we're also looking at what's happening in their environment. So to be able to, enable that connection with children and their environment, immediate environment, of how activities around them affect the river or how pristine the river is. And of course, there's a lot of knowledge sharing that also happens. So I was thinking that maybe we can all get together. And in fact, this living water museum thing is a brilliant idea, because we're also collaborating with a group in Goa. They're called NOI. It's called the Goa River Draw Project. So it's very similar actually. So it's an art-based project. So you use art as a medium to kind of interact with the community, and and there's so many stories that unfold just through this process. And that's kind of what we've done in Coorg as well. So we break them up into groups. So we do river monitoring. So we're looking at everything from an ecological perspective, even a chemical perspective. So just carrying out simple, easy to do water testing, water testing activities. So, and art-based activities as well at the end of it, just to get them involved, work in groups, and kind of portray what they think of the river, or what the river means to them. And also so much local knowledge in terms of the kind of fish species you find in the river.
Yeah.
This is very important because it's a biodiversity hotspot. So it's so important to kind of garner that momentum with the communities that live along the river. And it was just a great experience, just doing this with children in schools. And it's something that we really want to continue. And we just haven't been able to, because I've been working as a one-person army. Of course, we have the schools and everyone in place, but otherwise it's been very difficult. But if you all get together and work with the synergies, it will be great to make something that's valuable out of this on the long run.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Neeti. Thank you so much for joining in today. I am so glad that you connected. And, I had, I'm also wondering how this has reached you. And I'm so happy that you could
It
manage.
was actually through an educator who's in the field today with the NOI River Draw project. So we had a session today with the community where they went out to the river and looked at the vegetation and, spoke about fish species and fishing techniques and whole different things.
Neeti?
So it's basically part of the Bookworm Trust, and they came up with this activity called the Goa River Draw Project. So they went to different libraries. They have a network of libraries all along the Madei River and tributaries of the Madei. So they did like a visual arts based program with all these libraries and the communities, basically the villages. So villages from, so basically people from all different backgrounds, all different age groups, elders to children. So it's really something that we can, um, sort of replicate here as well. If not replicate completely, we can borrow some ideas from there as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Wow, wonderful. Thanks, Neeti. I'll be connecting with you after the presentation, surely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It's so great to know that this is happening, honestly speaking, because yeah, it's something that's really required in a landscape such as this.
Thank
Krupaka,
you.
we have
Niti,
some.
hi. Niti, hi. Where are you based in Coorg?
I'm based I'm based out of Polybeta, South Coorg. But I know Walnoor. I lived in Walnoor for 2 years. So where the group went, that
Yeah.
used to be one of my study areas. Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to come and visit a school? We are in Madikeri, 5 kilometers from Madikeri.
Sure. No,
Starting
would love to. Yes, absolutely.
So
Okay.
it's wonderful,
Yeah.
Neeti. And thanks for joining and also giving your valuable suggestion. And it's already growing as we see. As we come together, it already grows actually. That is the wonderful thing of coming together and sharing. So thank you so much, Neeti. And I'm sure we'll take it up further and think about it together, what all we can do. Yes, if there are any more questions from anyone in the audience, if yes,
Sorry, I'm a parent. I'm not an educator.
can you please share your name?
Hello.
Ha, Parvati.
Yes,
Hi,
yeah,
hi.
hi.
Yes,
Pardon, yes. Namaskar. Right.
hi.
That bit about learning being multilingual in a classroom. I was just curious as to how it actually works, especially in a group setting where there are different children speaking multiple languages. Because as an idea, I think it's great. I'm just wondering how it translates in a classroom setting. So could you throw a little more light on that, please? I remember that bit about making cue cards in different languages and so on. But when you interact in a group, how does it actually translate?
Yeah, so Parvati, the idea was to initiate this project through by creating multilingual teaching aids and multilingual teaching methodologies, but not the also keeping an umbrella language as Kannada, because that is the state language. Also, I must tell you, there is a growing pressure from parents. What we also noticed is that the teachers also communicated this with us, that there is a pressure from parents that they want children to speak in English. They want children to speak in more in English than in Kannada, even Kannada, though it's a Kannada medium school. But they want children to speak in English because then English also helps them later on, for acquiring jobs and so on. And then also there is some sort of a confidence that comes into children when they can speak in English, is what the parents have often expressed to the teachers, and the teachers expressed this during the session. But the idea of having multilingual classrooms is not to facilitate in multiple languages, rather having multiple teaching aids, multiple teaching methodologies in multilingual methods. So the umbrella language still remains Kannada, or the facilitating language still somewhere remains English, but also the medium of explanations then can become multilingual and so on.
Great, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Parvati. Anyone else?
And
Yes, Charlotte.
what
Yes, Charlotte from Loka
Sorry, I'll just,
School in
Lokesh, I'll
Bihar.
just add one more point to this.
Yes.
The book I also referred to earlier talks about English being the one language being a double-edged sword, where on one hand it's taking us away from our mother tongue and mother language, all the plurality of languages, but then on the other hand it also empowers people and empowers children, communities. Also caste, we know that when we see Ambedkar's, the famous image with the book in his hand, and how writer Yogesh Maitreya talks about how it empowered him when he saw this image, that he wanted to learn not in vernacular, so-called vernacular medium school, but in an English medium school. We also see and understand the advantages and disadvantages of having a single language in classroom.
Yes, very true. Thanks for bringing that. It's very important, actually, point, Kripa. Charlotte also has like to share. Charlotte is from Loka School in Bihar. Yeah.
First of all, thank you very much. It's very interesting to be part of this conversation, and we're very honored to be collaborating with Art1st for some years now, because you're doing really important fundamental work. And Kripa, your story is very inspiring, and it inspires us as a school also, because there's so many forces that try to put you in doing things in the regular way. And the poem you started with by itself, was something that we will take with us, and it will become part of our morning circle tomorrow morning, just to re-inspire everybody here. And thank you also for explaining about the umbrella, about the language, where we can have one language, but yet space for many more. It's very clear. It sounds so simple, but you don't often hear these things. And one of the questions I actually have, and I don't know if that's something directly you had experience with, but has connection with that, and that is, how do the parents respond to bringing in ecology, bringing in art in such a special school, in a surrounding where people are also thinking very much that, okay, school is a way for my child to get a job. How do they respond to bringing these new fresh breezes into the education, where children actually go out of the classroom, walk along their river, explore their surroundings? How does the community, how do the parents respond to that? And how do we also educate basically the surroundings in that education can be more than being in the classroom learning for a job? Because that's something also we're dealing with here very much. And I was wondering if you have any thoughts on that.
Thank you, Charlotte. I see that there is a lot of overlapping of Loka School and Harman.
Yes.
There's so much to share and so many similarities there. That's a very valid question that you have, Charlotte. I would say that this is where I've seen teachers. The first visit that I made to the school, the teachers were actually preparing a skit. And the skit was to present to the parents. They actually wanted to enact a certain skit for the parents to make them understand why they are going about this methodology of teaching and so on. So it's not just about actually teaching the children, but it's also somewhere creating that dialogue with parents that becomes important in such schools. And also things like we know that there are close to 4 or 5 tribal communities in and around Katekeri. And there are 4 or 5 different tribal groups of children who actually come into the school. And these children, when they are used to being out in the open, they are not bound by, they don't wear shoes in their homes or slippers. They're not used to wearing slippers even. And then for us to tell them, please wear shoes and sit in a classroom and sit for so many hours, and all of that. So the design of the school itself, when I first showed you the octagonal classroom with open windows, was to enable the child to look outside, and if the child sees say something on the tree, the child is inspired to go out and actually take to the tree and and explore more. So that was the idea of the vision of the school. But yes, you're right that to put that forward, to the with the parents has been and is a challenge, and which they are constantly tackling. I think Raghu Anna and the teachers would be best able to answer this question.
Yeah, and one thing about the teachers also, that I really admire how they have taken how they own the project, and I think that's half the work also towards the parents. If the teachers really believe in it, then it's also easier to persuade and make the parents part of it. So really great work, the teachers of Harmandir School. Yeah.
Thanks, Charlotte. And I think Kaji also like to add something here. Radhika ji, your mic.
Yeah. So Charlotte, I thought I'll ask you this good question you've asked, but specifically this project, we have not taken it to the community because this was, we were just piloting it and everybody was exploring with Kripa. But this project, when it continues next year, we are definitely going to take the project to the community. Now, with regard to many other things, of course, it's a battle, as you already have mentioned. It's a battle to enroll parents into your vision, into your way of pedagogy, into your way of into your perspectives. So it is ongoing work in progress with the community always. But coming year, we are looking forward to engaging with the community on this project very, very in a very focused way. But yes, all this takes a while, and slowly, gradually, the parents are getting enrolled into our pedagogy and our vision in it. So I just thought I'll just clarify. Of course, Raghavendra and teachers can also add to it. Thanks, Shal.
Yeah. Thanks, Radhika ji. If I'm right, Shivani is also with us today. Shivani, are you still there from Muskan School? Is she? Sorry? Oh, just now she lost. Just before this, she was here. Because it would have been nice to hear from her also. As Shivani is from Muskan, Bhopal, with a Muskan school that is in Bhopal and working in a similar context with the different tribal communities, but in the context of city who are there settled in Bhopal and this school that they are running there. I thought she is still around and we could have also extended this conversation with her.
So
also.
I would like to
yes,
add.
Yes, please.
Already Radhika ji had mentioned that.
Yes.
So it's a challenge because orienting the parent and awareness about this kind of education. They are not used to the education, this kind of education. Especially they are always comparing with their kids with the other schools, like formal way of doing rote memory and all now. So once we oriented this kind of education system, we are working on that 4 domain. We have to give settling down activity for the first 3 months. We have to invest a lot of activity for the social emotional aspect. But certain time they used to come for a parent meeting and all. No, they are always comparing, and we have to educate them. So this is how the education. We are not bagging behind any concept, and slowly this is how we are integrating the subject and all. Then they realize that, so we are in the process. So communicating with the parents as well as the educating the parents. So we are in the process. That's definitely been a challenge for us. So hope we are doing our best, and through our Krupa and some of the learning partner, like we are having the Kadi Path learning partner, Step Out, different kind of people are coming. They're also talking about the education and all. They're easy to convey that. We are easy to convey the kind of thing.
Thanks. It will be also nice if some of the teachers who are here, if they like to answer some of these questions that have been asked here. especially the parents' connection.
Okay. Usually what happened, parents are not very much aware of this. Just they are watching activity as a activity. But finally they want outcomes. What we are doing through the activities, we are reaching their cognitive level. For example, what they have to reach for second standard, we gave that outcome for the parents. Parents, basically they want outcome. Once they received outcomes, they're happy for this, with this.
Okay, thanks. But it is interesting, Charlotte, that you asked this question, and also as Kripa and also Radhika ji and Raghu Anna extended it further. Something that I think is for all of us as educator, it is a huge question that where not just within the school, but actually where the because the child's world is a two-way world, because one leg is in the school and the other leg is in the family and with the parent or with siblings and other whom they call their family, not necessarily family in the term that we understand family. So it's really a significant question to tackle for all of us as educators, as artist teachers. And I'm sure actually because we all are thinking there are many more ways also will open up to connect on that thread. I was
Hey,
actually
Lokesh, it's interesting that you say that they are also a part of this family, because what I also noticed, Charlotte, is that when I was in Coorg, in the school, there would be a child's father who would come to drop the child, and then when he comes to pick up the child, he's taking back 6, 7 other children. So he regularly ferries the children also, because he's a rickshaw driver whose child is studying in the school. So this way, there are many others who, whatever their profession, they are also somewhere plugged into the school's ecosystem. So that way, they are a part of what is really happening in the classroom. They are a part of the school's ethos and so on. So they are not actually outside of it. They are inside the periphery, within the family of it.
Yeah, thanks, Kripa. Actually, here I would also like to invite Shreyashi from our team. And because still all of us are here, thank you so much that for such a long time all of you are here. And Shreyashi has something interesting to share with us, which you can also take with you to many more people, many more. Yeah. Yes, Shreyashi.
Am I audible?
Ha, Shreyashi.
Yeah. So we are very excited to announce that we are now inviting applications for our second Artist Educator Grant for the year 2024 and 2025. This year, we are delighted to be collaborating with the Jeevan Shiksha Pehlan Muskan based in Bhopal, an experimental school that attempts to redefine education. Functioning from Mitti Ka Ghar, it has become a nurturing space for children from different social locations and marginalized communities. The grant application will be out on 1st June. Applications are open to candidates who have a master's degree in any discipline with a minimum of 4 years of artistic practices and pedagogical practices. We will be posting more details on our social media, so please do keep a lookout. You will be provided a Google form link that you can fill in the details, upload all the required documents, and please do circulate with the friends and people who are interested in. And thank you again for your time and joining this session.
Yeah, can you stop the presenting the poster? Yeah, thank you so much. So this is something that also we wanted to take this moment and also share with you guys. Also, please share once it is out. Also, please share, because this is a grant that every year we want to take out and reach out to many different practitioners who can actually then come in and also enrich our this ground of education, ground of school, different kinds of schools, different interesting schools that we have around us. Whether in the south of India, north of India, northeast of India, or central part of India. And this time, so where on one hand, actually, we are continuing this beautiful project that Kripa has just now taken us through, and it will be a continuing process, and we'll certainly will require a lot of support from many different people for taking it ahead. Simultaneously, we are bringing out this grant, which will be actually taking the project now to a school in Bhopal, that is in Madhya Pradesh, and the grantee who will be selected will be working for 1 year at that school in Bhopal. So really looking forward to who with whom we'll be working now in the coming future. But please do circulate with the interested people or interesting people once it is out. And uh, actually, because it's already 4:50 and you have given so much of time, all of you have given, I really want to thank, first of all, I want to thank Har Mandir, Radhika ji, and Raghu Anna, and all the teachers team, and Kripa for doing all of this, not just the presentation, but this last 1 year of deep engagement that you all are into, from where actually I'm sure actually all of us are learning so much, and it will all of course it will take so long time to also time to reflect upon it, and again connecting back with you. So whoever like to connect with Kripa, with this school, please, you can write to school also, you can write to us also, you can write directly to Kripa also. Plus, but please be connected. And like all from behalf of Art1st team, all of us really want to thank all of you for joining. So today we had wonderful teachers, art teachers, not just from the Har Mandir, but also we have DPS Pune, DPS Ludhiana, and we have also artists joining. We have also different school founders joining today with us, Charlotte, Muskan School, and many more. And we also have wonderful Rohan Chakravarti with us, Ashish Palai, and so Dipali, many more, many friends. So Radhika ji, would you like to add something?
Yes, I thought I'll also thank all of them who have taken their time off to to show their curiosity on this project. I would also like to thank my guests who have come specially in showing interest in the way Harmandir is progressing, and they've been our learning partners. So I would like to thank the few of them who have joined here, and they all know who it is. So, so thank you very much. And Art1st and teachers of Harmandir, I think you all did a fantastic job in this whole presentation. So thank you very much for this learning opportunity that you have all grabbed, and we have all grabbed, and we're looking forward to this to grow further. So there is no other way to learn. I just thought I'll leave a parting message. If we want any change to happen, and if we really want things to be different, I think collaboration is the best way. So hail to the collaboration that we have. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank
definitely. Yeah. And Kripa, would you like to add something? And
Nothing at all. I'm so grateful that everybody could make time and be a part of this presentation. I really hope to work, collaborate, and connect with all of you in the future, and see how we can take this, not just this project, but somewhere or the other, create synergies. Yeah. Thank you.
thank you so much, dear all. Yeah. See you all soon with something new and next. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Unmute and say bye.
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 Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye.